Hello, it's Andy again from the Egocast channel. Today I wanted to look at a video that struck me as very funny. When you begin something and you say that the idea of it is equality for everybody, right? When you start going down that road, you have to stick to that message. That has to be your message. Because if you go anywhere else with that message, you look like a retard. It's just fact. So, now that feminism is in its, 28th phase or whatever the fuck it is, and it's no longer about equality, it's about my rights opposed to yours, it's about equal mistreatment of white people and white males, whatever. When you get to that point, there we go, dry mouth. Anyways, when you get to a point where you've won, you just can't keep going. Because sooner or later, people are going to start wanting equality. And when you don't really want equality, you run into problems. And I thought this was hysterical, so I wanted to share it with you.
Now, Philip Davies, the Conservative MP and well-known campaigner for men's rights, is set to join the Women and Equalities Committee in Parliament.
A men's rights activist is going to join a Women's and Equality Committee. Because it's all about equality, right?
Now, that's raised a few eyebrows, not because Philip Davies is a man. There are already two of them on the committee, but because Mr. Davies has previously derided what he calls militant feminists.
Well, I would say that militant feminists are deserving of some derision, right? I mean, come on. I think anytime you're militant anything and you're not in the military, you fall under the you deserve a little derision category.
And he even described the creation of the Women and Equalities Committee as depressing. Well, Philip Davies joins me now from Central Lobby, as does the co-leader of the Green Party, Caroline Lucas. Welcome to both of you.
Yeah, you guys look happy as fuck to be here.
Philip Davies, if you think the committee's depressing, why are you joining it?
Well, the committee's there whether I like it or not, so if I can bring some common sense to the committee, that's surely a good thing, just in the same way that UKIP used to take their seats in the EU Parliament, not because they were fans of the EU Parliament or everything that it represented, but because they hoped to hold it to account.
See, that makes sense. I don't agree with it, but I want to make sure that it's not going to do anything improper, so I want to be a part of it. Makes total sense.
But they didn't just want to hold it to account. They wanted to actually end our involvement in the Parliament. Is that what you're going to do with this committee? Try and bring it down, break it up?
Wink. No, of course that's not what he's going to do. Wink. Why on earth would he want to bring down the Women's and Equality group? Like, what would be the point of that? Wink.
Well, I'd prefer it if it was just called the Equalities Committee. I don't see why it needs to be called the Women and Equalities Committee. You can still look at women's issues on a committee that's just called Equalities. But
well, that makes a lot of sense, right?
It seems to indicate that there are no issues for men, and clearly there are issues where men suffer. So I don't really see why it can't just be called the Equalities Committee.
Right.
Right.
Well, what do you think about that, Caroline?
Yeah, Caroline. What do you think about that?
Well, I hope that the time that he spends on the committee will be an opportunity for him to understand a bit more about entrenched sexism in our societies. So this is an MP who has been saying, as you said, that this committee shouldn't even exist, that it was disappointing that it was going ahead, and yet he's now hoping to take his position on it. And I just think that we need MPs on that committee who recognise, for example, the level of the gender pay gap.
Or people that recognise your interpretation of the gender pay gap.
Who recognise the disproportionate violence against women.
Who recognise your ideas on violence against women.
Who recognise that there's still a very long way to go in business, in politics, in just about every sphere of life.
Who recognises what you think about those issues.
Where women are discriminated against and where we need to have concerted effort to support women.
Where you think you need to have concerted effort to support women.
Right.
Certainly not against having actions to support men, and Philip does a good job doing that, but let him do that in his work there and let the Women's and Equalities Party carry on, rather than having him, a person who says that he's taking his lead from UKIP in the European Parliament. As we know, they're trying to bring down the presence of the European Parliament. That's not a very good precedent for the Women and Equalities Party.
Wink.
Do you understand the issues of entrenched sexism, Philip Davies, as Caroline Lucas has just outlined, the gender pay gap, violence against women? Do you understand those issues?
Yeah, I think it's all kind of bullshit, you know? Fucking the statistics have been debunked, man. This is all just horseshit. That's why I want to be on the group, so that I can actually get them focused on real fucking problems. How about that? Is that a good answer?
Yes, absolutely. There are massive issues that affect women. There is a gender pay gap. There's also a part-time gender pay gap where women are paid more than men.
Oh, shit!
Yes, many women, 2/3 of victims of domestic violence are women, but 1/3 of victims are men.
Wait a minute. You mean you want to address domestic violence as an issue itself, and not just men? That's maddening.
So what I'm saying is, of course there are issues that affect women and they should be tackled on the committee, but equally there are issues that affect men, and I don't see why they should be excluded from having their views on what is supposed to be an equalities committee. I believe in equality where gender should be irrelevant, and that's what I want to try and bring to the committee.
Yeah, but that's not equality, right? Treating everybody as equals, that's not equality, right?
Right, and what's wrong with that, Caroline?
Well, when we have a society where women and men are equally represented in the different spheres of power in this country, then I think that's the time for the debate that Philip wants to have.
So fuck all the men issues until all the women issues are sorted out, right? That's the Equality Committee's position? Is that their official position? Fuck everybody else until women are good with everything. Really? Fucking assholes.
If he wants to go ahead, as he does, and organise to raise issues around men's equality and issues around very serious issues about suicide rates for men and so forth, then by all means, please go and do that. We support that.
Really? Do you support that? Because it doesn't fucking sound like you support that.
But to have a presence on the committee who doesn't even believe the committee should exist, to have a presence who thinks that this is about feminist zealots, as he's put it, that to me doesn't suggest that this is going to be a very constructive contribution to the work of the committee.
Yeah, but that doesn't have any bearing on what he actually is going to do on the committee. The things that he says in response to what I imagine would maybe be able to be argued as deserving of those comments. I don't know. I don't know what he's made. I don't live in Britain. I live in America. We got our own fucking idiot politicians. But what he says before doesn't have any bearing on what he's going to do in the future. I mean, it does to a degree, but he's saying right now that he wants to join this thing to make it a more of an equal committee. That speaks volumes to me. Right? It's just bullshit. It's just, no, he doesn't agree with our opinion, so we don't want him here. That's all it fucking boils down to. It's just ridiculous.
I mean, you haven't started off well, one might say, in the terms of the language that you've used. Feminist zealots being just one of the terms that you've used to describe people like Caroline Lucas on the committee. But also, you made a comment at an event organised by a group called Justice for Men and Boys. They run a Lying Feminist of the Month award. According to their website, the awards highlight the fact that feminists are whiny, gormless, toxic liars. Were you right to give a speech at their conference?
Well, look
at the look on this bitch's face. She's looking at him like, yeah, bitch, what do you got to say to that?
I appear on the BBC, but I'm hardly the greatest fan of the BBC. And so just because you appear on a platform somewhere doesn't mean to say that therefore necessarily means you endorse everything about that organisation. So
that makes sense to me. You know, that makes sense to me.
If that was the case, I would never appear on the BBC. If you were setting that particular barrier, people should listen to what I actually said, rather play the ball rather than the man.
Yeah, play with the balls, not with the man.
And what the point I made at that speech was that men and women are treated completely differently in the criminal justice system.
Oh shit! You mean there was context to what he said? Oh fuck! I would have never thought of that.
Right.
And I don't think that should be the case. It should be the case that men and women are treated equally when they go before the courts. And the only difference here between me and Caroline, it seems, is that I want this committee to be called the Equalities Committee, and it seems that she just wants it to be called the Women's Committee.
That's what it sounds like she's saying to me.
I actually believe in genuine equality between the genders, between races, between
You've
sexes.
got a very, very
all
funny
of those
way
things.
of showing it.
Yeah, by saying he wants men's issues to be looked at just as equally as women's issues. That's a real funny way of saying that he wants to have equality.
Philip, and I think what he should be doing right now, December the 14th, is to give us all a Christmas present by saying this was all a bit of a joke and he's not going to be on that committee because
Because he disagrees with us and we don't want that. Wow.
everything he's just been saying does not convince me this is going to be a constructive presence on the committee. There's serious work to be done, work that's been doing around women and disabilities, for example.
Just... He's saying everything he said so far is that he wants every issue to be treated equally. And she's going on about how that's not going to get things done equally. This is just an asshole, man.
Issues around the gender pay gap, which is still glaring when it comes to women in politics.
Women in politics. So which politicians should be fired and which women should be forced to become politicians?
These are issues that need concerted action now, and I'm not sure Philip's man to help us.
Is it a joke, your application, Philip?
Only in this world now could it be possible that question even be asked. The man's in politics, right? He's a politician. He's requested or been elected or whatever to be on a committee that deals with problems of equality. And only in this world could he be asked, is this a joke? You don't seriously want to bring equality to this equality group, do you? Wow.
No, not at all. And it's very. I would have thought Caroline would be the one person who would actually want to protect people with minority opinions in Parliament.
The day that you were a minority, Philip, I'll come a white Anglo-Saxon man. I don't think so.
Did he say that he was a minority or that he had minority opinions? I don't remember.
Caroline will be the one person who would actually want to protect people with minority opinions in...
Oh, yeah, he did say minority opinions.
That Caroline wants people on the committee only if they agree with her. Well,
Right.
Surely the whole point of a select committee is you have people on there with a range of opinions. Otherwise, what on earth is the point of an all-party select committee if people can only go
Well,
on there if they all agree with Caroline?
Well, I would say the point is to push Caroline's fucking agendas further, isn't it?
Sounds like you are going to get on there because you're standing unopposed. But of course, Parliament, any member of Parliament, Caroline Lucas, can block the appointment or election to this committee. Will you try and block it?
Fuck yeah, she's gonna do everything she can to block that shit. Are you kidding me?
I will talk to others and see what strategies they're pursuing. In fact, I think we need to have a proper hearing with Philip and really just check out that he doesn't think that people who are standing up for things like equal pay or standing up for women in the justice system are feminist zealots. As long as he can assure us of that, then maybe he should have a role and he could learn something by being on the committee.
All right, well, I'm sure you're going to get on really well on this committee anyway, but thanks very much.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna get on great. I don't know. It's so ridiculous. You know, you want equality? Fine, but you're going to have to give equality too. You aren't just granted equality in everything you ask for. That's not equality. There's a give and take that goes with equality. Some people get to do things other people don't get to do. And that's just fucking life, man. But, so now... men's rights activists are starting to do what women's rights activists did a long time ago. They're starting to insinuate themselves in the hierarchy of opposing figures. And it's real interesting because, you know, women haven't gotten to establish the matriarchy that they wanted to. So we're fighting back against what might happen in the future. That's what these people are doing. And everybody who does this sort of thing, I support. I mean, I don't give a fuck, you know, what else he thinks about anything. I don't know anything else about the man. But this right here, that shows an amazing amount of character to me. I don't know what else he's done. He might be a despicable person. He could be a fucking saint. I have no idea anything about him. I don't know him from Adam. But this right here makes me on his side. If I know nothing else about him but this, I think he's a pretty good guy. But I hope you liked this video. If you did, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, leave them in the comments section. Check out my Patreon page. Give me money. And until next time, have a good day and bye-bye.